review of Space Jam: A New Legacy soundtrack. Welcome back to Streetball Strategies.
Only the strong survive. Greatness in my DNA, I was born to strive. When I'm gone, my victories will be immortalized. Witness the making of a legend right before your eyes. Made a promise to myself, I'ma take it farther. Till the world's in my possession, I'll be going harder. Till my genius is accepted, I'll be working smarter. Going as a champion and go out as a martyr. I'm inspiring the
It's ironic that the last video I posted was of how to play music and listen to music while you're out here at the park, because just now the soundtrack to Space Jam: A New Legacy was just released. And since basketball movies don't get released that often, and because it is a Space Jam movie, it's a pretty big deal to us basketball players. And as I mentioned in my review of the original Space Jam movie, the original soundtrack to the movie is pretty important to some people of a certain age. If you were the right age when that movie and soundtrack came out, to a lot of people, a lot of players, that soundtrack was very important to their young lives. I think it's okay. It's about average. It's a little bit above average, not great, but we'll get to that in the conclusion of the video. And since the Space Jam: A New Legacy soundtrack was just released, it was released a week ahead of the actual movie, I figured I'd review the soundtrack in the meantime while I'm waiting for the actual movie to come out. Now let me be clear, I'm aware that the movie and the soundtrack are not meant for me in my age bracket. It's meant for young basketball players, but I love basketball, I love movies, I love music, so I figured we'd go through the soundtrack song by song. There's like 15 songs, so I'm gonna give you just a little quick thought for every song. I don't want this video to be like 20 minutes long. And then we'll go over a conclusion at the end of what I think, and maybe do a little bit of comparison to the original soundtrack as well. So we'll start in order and just go through one by one. First up, we win Space Jam: A New Legacy by Lil Baby and Kirk Franklin. Yeah, Kirk Franklin. Let's do it. So, what I think about when I hear this song is it being played probably during the ending credits of the movie. The song itself is fine, nothing special, but it sounds like it'd be one of those ending credit songs. Number 2, Control the World by 24 Golden featuring Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's one of my favorite artists, so let's see how this goes. It's a pretty good song. I'm a sucker for melodies in song, and the melody in this song is pretty good. But again, nothing about it really sticks out. I mean, even Lil Wayne's verse in the song, usually when Wayne has a feature on a song on an album that he knows especially is going to be pretty widely heard, he usually brings it pretty hard, and this verse in this song is just kind of forgettable. It's kind of reminiscent of the song itself. Unfortunately, there's nothing bad about it. It just doesn't, there's no reason to remember it. Number 3, See Me Fly, Chance the Rapper and John Legend and Symba. The problem with this song is it's supposed to be inspiring, right? And the beat, I do like the beat in the song, but the problem is like it's not inspiring. It's supposed to feel that way, that's what it's supposed to be, but it's not. It kind of feels forced. And speaking of forced, the number 4, which is Hoops by Saweetie featuring Salt-N-Pepa and Kash doll. Again, I like the beat to these songs. They sound good, the music's good, but it just sounds like they said make a song about basketball, like a basketball themed song, and then they wrote the song and performed it, and it's like, it's fine, but like I don't have any reason why I should remember it, or why it would stick out in my mind, why I should remember it, you know, beyond watching the movie. Pump Up the Jam by Lil Uzi Vert. This is one of the reasons I know I'm not the demographic for this soundtrack, because I'm not a huge fan of remakes, and like I just feel like if you want to hear Pump Up the Jam, go listen to the original Pump Up the Jam. It was a perfectly fine song. It's not special, the music's kind of interesting and engaging, but if you like this version by Lil Uzi Vert, just go listen to the original. I'm old school. I don't know. Maybe I sound crotchety, but that's how I am. Just for Me by St. John featuring SZA. What is up with these artists when they just have initials for names now? There's like, where's the? It's not, and it's just letters for their name. Okay, but just for me. So there's a problem that I have with songs that feel dated. Like when you can listen to a song and go like, that song came from that decade. While that's not inherently a bad thing, it's kind of like, I don't know, it makes it a little less interesting as opposed to like evergreen songs where it's like that song could fit into any decade at any time because it's kind of like timeless. This song feels like it was made in like 2011 by The Weeknd. It was like written by The Weeknd, and it just wasn't a good enough song for him himself to perform, so he gave it to St. John to do instead. I feel like I've been there, done that, heard this kind of song before. Not a big deal. Crowd Go Crazy by John Legend. A typical John Legend song, which is not a bad thing at all, but again, it feels uninspired. It feels like I've heard it before, and it just doesn't stick out. It's gonna be forgettable because there's nothing to remember about it. Mercy by the Jonas Brothers. Now see, this is a problem with reviewing the soundtrack without having seen the movie yet, because the movie's not out. I'm confused. I don't understand why this song is on the soundtrack. I don't understand how it fits in. I mean, I'm sure in context of the movie I'll get it, but in terms of just being on the soundtrack, I don't understand. It's not that great of a song. Gametime by Lil Tecca and Aminé. So the song is called Gametime, right? I can easily see this song being played during the actual main game of the movie, and it would fit very well in that scene for that part of the movie. It's a pretty good song. I like the beat, but again, I have a problem, which is they threw the sample of Slam by Onyx into this song, and it's like, if you like that part of the song, then just go listen to the original Slam by Onyx. It's a perfectly fine song. Why? I don't understand. Like, remake a song if you can somehow enhance it, but this is not enhancing it. It's just kind of like blah. Like, it's fine. About That Time by D.O.L.L.A and a bunch of other guys too. Good rappers, good guys. But so I like Dame. I think he's a very skilled rapper, no doubt about it. I'm just not a huge fan of his style. He's definitely a good rapper. Just for me personally, I'm not a fan of the way he raps. But this is definitely the best ensemble of rappers on a song on this album. It's probably technically, in terms of how the song's performed, it's probably the best song. Well, let's see. Let's go through the rappers, because I don't want to leave them out or disrespect them. Who do we got? We got D.O.L.L.A, we got G-Eazy, we got P-Lo, and White Dave. I have not heard of P-Lo or White Dave, but they have really good verses on this song. Probably artistically and technically the best song on the album, but still nothing that's gonna stick out in my mind after listening to the soundtrack or watching the movie. MVP by Brockhampton. Again, it's another rip-off beat. Look, as soon as the song started, all I could hear and think about was Jump by Criss Cross. If you like the beat to this song, go listen to Jump by Criss Cross. Jump is not a great song. It's not an amazing song. It's a pretty basic song, but at least when Criss Cross did Jump, it sounded like they were caring about what they were rapping about. this song just kind of sounds uninspired. Like he didn't really care. He was just making a song to fit on a soundtrack, and that's about it. Settle the Score by Cordae and DUCKWRTH. I like the beat of the song. I like how the beat builds. Well, there's supposed to be like this building intensity, right? And the beat does that. It accomplishes that. The rapping doesn't really intensify the way I would like it to. I'm sure they could get, deeper and more passionate, but they don't really do that. They kind of, the beat builds, but the rapping kind of stays the same in terms of intensity, and I would have liked to seen the intensity build. I would have liked to seen the intensity of the rapping build along with the beat. Because of, this song had the potential to stand out if that would have happened, but because it didn't, I don't think it's gonna stand out to me either. Goin' Looney by Big Freedia. So this is kind of an interesting song because it's like, I like the beat. I like how it's like a crunk beat. It's funny and kind of weird that like a grown adult male is rapping these lyrics about like the Looney Tunes. It's kind of a contrast that like you have this crunk beat, but then it has to be an innocent, song because it's about the Looney Tunes, and it's an interesting dynamic. But again, is it gonna stick with me after I get to listening to the album? Like, am I gonna go back and listen to this song specifically again because of it? No. Shoot My Shot by Joyner Lucas. I don't understand. I like the message of the song, and the melody is kind of singable, kind of catchy, but without having seen the movie, I don't see how this fits into the soundtrack or of obviously the movie. I just don't get it. It's not a great song, and I don't see why I should remember it. My Guy by Leon Bridges. It's a nice little ditty. It's nothing bad about it, but again, it's just kind of like, it feels like background music, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of these songs feel like they're just supposed to be heard in the background, but not like seriously listened to the way I kinda am. Thus, a lot of them, including this song, are kind of forgettable. The Best by Anthony Ramos. Now, this is the last song on the soundtrack, and it seems to me like it's supposed to be this movie's and this soundtrack's I Believe I Can Fly, but like, it's not anywhere near as theatrical as I Believe I Can Fly. Again, it's fine, but there's nothing special about it, nothing outstanding, and nothing to really remember about it.
Be the best. I just want the best for you. You can be the best. I just want the best for you.
So what do I think about the Space Jam: A New Legacy soundtrack? Well, it's obviously not for me, but I think it does what it's intending to do, which is to be ambiance and to set the mood for the movie. These are the songs that you're going to hear playing in the background of the movie, and they're intended to enhance the experience of watching the movie, and I think that's what they're gonna do. Now, in comparison to the original Space Jam soundtrack, the difference I believe between the two is that the original Space Jam soundtrack was okay. It was average, maybe a tiny bit above average. I like it better than this soundtrack because unlike Space Jam: A New Legacy, the original soundtrack did have 2 or 3 songs on the album that did sort of demand your attention when you heard them, when they started, when they came on. They kind of demanded that you listen to them because they had at least the potential to be banger songs. There's no song like that on a Space Jam: A New Legacy. There's nothing that grabs your attention and says, you better listen to this song just in case it turns out to be a really good song. They're all okay and meant to be background enhancement to the movie, whereas the original soundtrack did have 2 or 3 songs that really had very good potential to be great songs on their own, even without the movie. And in terms of I Believe I Can Fly from the original soundtrack, I mean, you guys probably don't understand. When I Believe I Can Fly came out, that was a huge song. I Believe I Can Fly is the most successful song that R. Kelly ever had.
I believe I can fly.
It reached #2 on the Billboard Top 100 charts.
I believe I can touch the sky.
It reached #1 on the R&B charts.
I think about it every night and day.
And it's just one of the biggest songs of the 1990s.
Spread my wings and fly away.
No song on Space Jam: A New Legacy is anywhere close to that. You can combine all those songs together and none of them are gonna have the acclaim and the appeal of I Believe I Can Fly. But regardless of that, Space Jam: A New Legacy, the soundtrack, is what it's meant to be, and it's gonna perform the way it's meant to perform. It's probably going to be appealing to young basketball players, but unlike the original soundtrack, I don't see the sequel resonating and sort of, you know, being as important to young players today in 2021 as it was back in '96 with the original. I don't think Space Jam 2 is going to be the kind of soundtrack of a young kid's life the way the original soundtrack was back in the 90s. So that's my review of Space Jam: A New Legacy soundtrack. If you guys liked this video, if you found it good, helpful, a thumbs up would be great, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, subscribing really helps me out and I really do appreciate it, so make sure you hit that button if you like this video. Also hit that notification bell so you're notified of when all of the rest of the videos go live. I don't do a lot of reviews when it comes to music or movies, but occasionally I do when I get the opportunity, when basketball stuff comes out in pop culture. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified of when those videos and all of the other videos go live, and until then, I'll see you guys next time. Oh, review for Space Jam: A New Legacy movie, probably coming. So make sure you're subscribed and you hit that bell so you'll know when that review comes out as well. See you guys.
Now I'm live, you can see it in my eyes. Anything I want is mine, I'ma get it in due time. Through the grittiness and crime, watch the monster come alive. When I'm gone, this is how my timeline will be described. Started from the bottom, but the top is where